Hey everyone, welcome back. This is day 2 of our summer class, and we are jumping into the annotated bib today. A couple of things before we get started. You should have watched 2 videos from me, the introductory stuff. I know it's kind of boring, bear with me, but this video 1 and video 2, those were uploaded a little while ago. Make sure you click the high quality on these because the videos are pretty shitty otherwise. And you can do that just going down on the bottom under the little settings app and clicking to 720 or HD. Okay, so that's going to make them a little bit more bearable. Otherwise, I've tried to set up the discussion board early so that if you have to work another job or whatnot, you can work ahead if you need to. For example, today is Tuesday's video, so Tuesday's discussion is up. However, so is Wednesdays and Thursdays. You'll notice that Thursday on the syllabus and here have 2 discussions. Again, these should not take a lot of time, okay? So 20 of them count for 20% of your overall grade, so you kind of should do the math on that. The thing about discussions 3 and 4, I'm still waiting a little bit on enrollment, so some people tend to drop the class, some add, so I'm just going to give it a little bit more time before I create those peer groups, but once I do for Wednesday's video, I'm going to explain how that works so you can do those correctly. All right. I think the only other announcement is a couple of people have emailed me about some issues, and that's why I changed the discussion format. Please keep sending those emails. I'm not aware of the issue otherwise, and if you don't communicate, then there's no way that I can know what is truly going on. All right, so in this video, I'm going to talk about the qualitative research paper and then the annotated bib, which is due for this week. The qualitative research paper is the biggest project in this entire class, and that's kind of what the annotated bibliography and the proposal are working toward. So in this video, we're going to just establish the genre, help set that up a little bit more. Yesterday's video is a bit rushed when it comes to what an annotated bib even is if you've never done one before. And then the next video, again, for today, we'll have 2 videos for today because we are jumping into research in the next video. I know it's kind of a lot for the first week, but bear with me. Like I said, as we lose kind of stamina and as the class comes to a close, the videos will become less and less. All right, so what is an annotated bib exactly? What's a qualitative research paper? We already looked at the annotated bib rubric a little bit, so I won't spend too much time here. But basically it has 4 main parts. So it has the works cited entry itself, it has the summary, the evaluation, and the connection. But first, before we get to all of this noise, we need to find a topic, or at least understand what we're writing toward more largely. So the qualitative research paper will be the 3rd project for this class, but like I said, the annotated bib, which is our project number 1, and the proposal both work toward the qualitative research paper. This paper is a more scientific or STEM-friendly paper. I've done it purposefully because I know many students who are forced to take English 101, 102, specifically 102, go into STEM fields. I had a bunch of engineers, business majors, medical, like nursing majors, medical field, etc. So I understand English is not going to be your main focus. I'm trying to train you in some way for your fields in terms of writing. So this year, I didn't really change anything from the typical semester. So Padu, again, was just the theme, post-apocalyptic, apocalyptic, dystopian, utopian. So you can kind of ignore that. If you're interested in that at all, I would be more than happy to talk to you about topics and themes. And by the end of class today, your discussion or your homework for today is to talk about to answer these 3 questions. The first one's the affirmation of values. This goes back to the syllabus, what you read for Monday. The second one is all about your topic. So I need to kind of approve your topic to make sure it fits the goals of a qualitative research paper. And then the third one is what questions do you have about the annotated bib? So please let me know. I'd be more than happy to answer those. All right, so what is a qualitative research paper and how can you form an appropriate topic? A qualitative research paper asks about the opinions, beliefs, or values of people. So it's an introspection into human behavior. I've posted a couple of sample questions down here, and I'm going to show you some sample papers. They're already posted online, but you have no extra time to go through those in advance, so I'll do that for you. All right, and it involves 5 parts, typically 6 for the usual semester, but I've kind of slimmed it down again for the summer. The research question. This is based on your topic. So your topic is kind of your research question comes out of your topic. Your annotated bib, which is what you're working on right now. Again, it has these 3 parts with the source entry as part number 4. The proposal is super short, 250 to 300 words. So you'll be happy when we get to next week when you're writing the proposal. You will develop a survey. Don't worry about that now. And then we'll circulate it, and that will count as your discussion for that day. And then writing up a report is the qualitative research paper. So like I said, it's the longest project. This is 10 double-spaced pages. Don't have a heart attack, though, because these involve charts and graphs and tables, and there's actually a template I give you in order to follow. So here's the template. Again, we're all working toward this through the annotated bib, but as you can see, and these will be double-spaced, the introduction method section, it all has these headings. You'll keep all of these headings. The finding section is just charts and graphs. For example, in this paper here, this is a sample paper from one of my students 2 semesters ago. His is unfortunately single-spaced. It should be double-spaced. But you can see here, figure 1, what is an apocalyptic event? And then he has his tables here. He has some bullet-pointed information, but that takes up a good 1.5 pages, and the discussion section follows. Another sample would be this one here. This was one of my ESL students from Vietnam, very excellent student. And you can see here his discussion or his findings alone take up about 2 pages. Okay, so most students kind of freak out whenever they first hear 10 pages, but it comes naturally, and you have 2 full weeks on this paper alone. And we're working up to this paper in weeks 1 and 2. All right, so let's get to some topics. I've again provided some research questions here based on the theme of the course. So what is the attraction to see a deconstructed world or human form in books, movies, graphic novels, etc.? Basically, that's a fancy-ass way to say, why do we love apocalyptic books and movies so much? Why is The Walking Dead so popular? That is an actual research question you can pursue, because it's asking about the opinions and the perceptions and beliefs of audiences. Your main audience for this class, or your main, the people who you will distribute your surveys to, will be each other. So it's going to be all online. You're not going to have to go out into like Best Buy awkwardly handing out surveys. That's ridiculous. Don't worry, I'm not making you do things like that. So it's all going to be kind of, experimental, theoretical almost, but you'll get some good practice for hopefully your field. How do audiences perceive utopias, dystopias as influenced by modern society? And I'll go ahead and post actually a link to a YouTube video that's pretty shorter than these. And it has basically a visual sample of what a qualitative research paper would look like. What's the impulse behind creating a living dead? Like I said in the first video, I love zombies. I'm obsessed with The Walking Dead. So here we have why is the zombie, quote, not dying? Why is it not going away? We had vampires for a while with the whole Twilight thing. We have wizards. Why are zombies the new monster? Or that's kind of old now, but what's the next new monster? That could be a question. And what makes these shows so extremely popular? What's their appeal? So that kind of relates to the first question as well. All right, so a couple of things in terms of the annotated bib. So this student, he asked about how likely people are to believe in an apocalyptic situation, or how might they react to an apocalyptic situation. So this person focused on bucket lists, and as you can see here, one of your assignments later will be to read one of these papers, so don't worry about that now unless you're really stumped with getting ideas, which again is what the discussion is for. But yeah, so bucket lists were a main thing for him to look at and ask people about. This is just the rubric for the qualitative research paper. This is online as well. We'll go through this in a later video, so don't worry about that too much. And then this here is just some questions if you're having trouble coming up with a research question. So what are some common characteristics of like dystopian films? So probably something like being put into categories, like just Divergent or Hunger Games or whatever, probably poverty or an introspection into social classes, stuff like that. So a lot of people, or like surveillance, government, etc. Circle 2 characteristics from the question that's most interesting to you. A lot of people wrote about natural disaster, and preparation comes into play a lot in these papers. For example, this student specifically looked at stress relief during exam weeks because he related the lack of happiness with college to a dystopian state of mind. So he kind of looked into basically ways that instructors and students could help, and even the university could help offer services to reduce stress. So again, that's looking at what students have to say about this issue, and not necessarily, there's some research involved, but not necessarily, the findings are not going to be based in research. The introduction in the discussion section will be, but the findings themselves, these all came from his own conducted research. Again, yours will only be a survey. He did, I believe, an interview as well, but I'm not requiring you to do an interview because that's a little bit too much work for the summer. Okay, so for the annotated bib, now that we have some kind of ideas for your research question, which hopefully some of that makes sense, you can relate it to Morgantown, you can relate it to West Virginia if you want. Start broad and then start narrowing your scope. So in the discussion post, you might just put something broad that you're interested in, and then I can help you narrow it down. What do you want to learn about, essentially? You'll be doing research with this. You'll be with this paper or with this topic for about 4 weeks. So choose something that is actually interesting to you. And you might not, don't write about like, I always use this as an example, but parking in Morgantown and how terrible it is. Don't write about that. That would be great for the last paper, which is an op-ed, which is an editorial or an opinion piece. So this one is more research-based. It's more about gathering the views about human behavior, opinions, values, and beliefs of other people. Okay? So jumping into the annotated bib, let's look at a couple of the samples, and we only have a few minutes left in this video, and then the next video we'll continue where we left off here, and then we'll start with the research. So this paper, this student's research question was about natural disaster preparation. So he wanted to look into how many people had been in a natural disaster, what qualified as a natural disaster, and are there any types of preparation students can either access or create in order to increase their awareness of natural disaster preparation. So there's a lot there. He had a very in-depth research question, but as you can see here, he went to Journal of Evidence-Based Medicine. I'm going to show you where the online, in terms of the library databases, all the free stuff essentially, where you can get good scholarly academic information. And again, this is not just for this class, it's expanding beyond this class. So a lot of people, biology majors, engineering majors, computer science majors, they said that they use these, or my pre-pharmacy student especially said that she uses these databases now in her own field. So that's what I'm hoping, that you can apply what you're learning here to other classes. So I'm actually going to cut us off there, but in the next video we're going to come back to this paper, look at the annotated bib a little bit more in detail, and then we're going to jump into where you can go to find some research.